Hey, Daren Lake, Audio Content Manager here with Metigy. In this video, I'll be focusing on how to get your podcast noticed in a sea of over 2 million other podcasts. True story. You've worked hard to create, produce, and publish your podcast. Hooray! You've even released 12 episodes over the last 3 months and haven't missed a week. But the numbers are low, and you don't know how to get more people to listen. Don't worry. A lot of podcasts have been here. It's a simple marketing fix. However, it does require some long-term commitment, hard work, and attention to detail. But the payoff will be worth it when the podcast streams start rolling in. So the 3 areas I'll cover to help you get your podcast noticed are 1, understanding the podcast search algorithm, 2, social media promotion, and 3, collaboration. Note, what I'll touch on next is assuming you've done your general market research, like identifying who would listen, where they listen, and similar podcasts to yours. Also, having an idea of what your potential audience likes to hear by providing value and solving their problems with your podcast. So here's the first one. Understanding the podcast ecosystem's search algorithms. Most major podcast distribution hosts have similar setups. You should use as many of their tools as you can, the best way you can. Things like category, podcast series and episode title, episode number, show description, tags, artwork, and more all play in telling the algorithm how it should show the search results and organize your podcast when people are looking for a podcast to listen to. As your brand and message grow, you should update your podcast distribution host settings to reflect that. Additionally, the big podcast players like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon, and Stitcher all have their own SEO tweaks that you can make inside of their creator portals. Make sure to check those out. Number 2, social and general media promotion. Most people are using some form of social media or email. Since their attention is there, this is a great place to raise visibility and general awareness around your podcast. Repurposing social media specific content from your podcast episode is key. A few cool ways to highlight important parts of your episode are actual video footage from the podcast interview, B-roll cutaways around the topic of the episode, using audio, images, and transcriptions to make what we call audiograms, interactive video quotes, carousel posts, blog posts, and newsletters, and I'm pretty sure there's a bunch more. This makes your podcast look interesting and valuable, but in a bite-sized format suitable for social media. You can also go the route of paid advertising if this suits your business model and budget. Facebook is now prioritizing social audio content, which means you can have people consume your podcast in their feeds. Huge. The last one is collaboration. This can be done in a lot of different ways, but the main 3 ways that have worked for me are A, creating relationships with other people in your industry and podcasts similar to yours via social media. This is best to be done on any 2-way social platform like Facebook groups, Reddit, LinkedIn, Quora, following hashtags, forums. Those are all great places to start. B, once you establish those relationships, which can take a few months, you can use those connections to cross-promote on each other's podcasts. And C, being a guest on similar podcasts to increase your visibility. Guesting on another podcast is an artful skill. You need to develop the rapport with the podcast host and convince them, or hope, they want you on their show. This does take time, but you are laying the foundation for the first adopters to come and listen to your show, so it's worth it. The goal is to be so good that people share your episode organically and the algorithms don't even matter. To wrap it up, we've gone over the best 3 ways to help your podcast get noticed. 1, understanding the podcast ecosystem search algorithms. 2, social and general media promotion. And 3, collaboration. There's no magic bullet to getting more listens on your podcast, but if you can address as many angles and touch points around the potential listener, you should start seeing a higher quality and quantity of listeners and engagement. Happy podcasting.
Metigy.